Thank you so much for joining us here on An Hour to Give. Each week we get together and speak about volunteerism, philanthropy, and community. And today our feature is the Ottawa Hospital Foundation. And it's my pleasure to welcome the one and only Tim Kluke. How are you, Tim?
Good, Sam. How are you? What an introduction.
There you go. Of course, as President and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, you have a very big job. Creating Campaign for Tomorrow has been wonderful to be able to launch this campaign 18 months ago and see how far you've come. Tim, give us an update.
Yeah, so really incredible. You know, a year and a half ago, we launched our campaign, which $500 million goal is the largest campaign in our region's history. So tremendous campaign with two key pillars. One is to help build the new civic campus on Carling Avenue. And the second is to support innovative research here at the Ottawa Hospital. So I'm thrilled to say we've raised $306 million. So it's been incredible, and we're so grateful to our volunteers and our donors who have helped make it possible.
Wow, it's amazing. So our last update was halfway, so $250 million.
Yeah.
And at that point I was like, wow, that's incredible. Obviously you've got a little bit to go, but talk to me a little bit about how the community has embraced this campaign. And I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the pandemic put that spotlight on healthcare, right? I think a lot of people kind of woke up and said, we've got to look after our own here.
Yeah, if I go back to spring 2020, like most charitable organizations and all businesses, we said, you know, what does the future look like? And at that point, we were assessing our goals. We had just pulled together our campaign executive. We hadn't even met yet. And, you know, early into the pandemic, we said, well, the hospital needs the support. And so we quietly started talking to donors on Zoom calls and team calls and FaceTime. And the community really responded. And I think you're right. I think around the pandemic time, the early years of the pandemic, the community was really grateful for healthcare and looked at this as an opportunity to chart a course for our city and to support something that we all hold so dearly, and that's our health.
And we can all join this journey, which is wonderful. CreatingTomorrow.ca is really this opportunity for us to watch how this campaign is going, to hear the stories of people that have quite a story to tell about how the Ottawa Hospital has affected their lives. Has that been the joy to make that connection, Tim, between people that feel connected to the hospital and the campaign?
It's amazing the people that we've talked to that automatically tell their connection with the Civic Hospital. You know, they may say, my parents were born there, my grandparents, you know, were involved, my kids were born there, I was treated at the hospital. So many people have a story. And this year, 2024, so next year, we celebrate our 100th anniversary of the Civic, which that in itself provides a whole platform for wonderful stories of what role this hospital has played for 100 years in this community.
Yeah, it really is remarkable. You have a remarkable team, obviously, as well. Each of you connecting with people in the community, and I certainly have seen this campaign grow and see the people that are coming to the table. And some people, which I love, this is what I love about this campaign, by the way. Some people are, we know that person's very philanthropic. And then people are coming to the table that have quiet philanthropy.
Absolutely.
And they're coming out so proud, Tim, to be contributing to this campaign in a meaningful way for them. How important is it for us to all be part of it?
I always say there's a spot for everyone in this campaign, and yes, we've been really blessed with those with means that have made remarkable gifts. And I was saying recently that this campaign and to build a new hospital that's going to pay it forward for generations, we've seen people make their largest philanthropic gifts. And that could be a $1,000 gift, or, you know, we've had wonderful, wonderful gifts, upwards of $25 million, which is incredible. But I think to a donor, they've recognized the impact, the importance to this community that this campaign has, and building a new hospital, funding research, supporting the Ottawa Hospital, and people have made it one of their philanthropic priorities.
For sure. Let's take a deep dive into both of those areas, because I think the new hospital, we hear about a new hospital, and it's very exciting to think about, you know, the technology that comes with that, all of the, you know, the inner workings of what that hospital will mean. Let's talk a little bit about what it's going to look like when you see the renderings. Does that get you? It gets me excited. Does it get you excited?
It really does. So listen, we have remarkable people providing excellent health care in an outdated facility. So I'm really excited to give our healthcare practitioners this kind of purposely built new facility that they've had the opportunity to help in the design of the facility. Very patient-focused, patient-centered in its design. So you think about a visit to the hospital today, you may be faced with sharing a bedroom with someone, maybe 3 other people. Now you're going to go into an environment that has private rooms, floor-to-ceiling windows, a place for a family member to spend the night if they want to comfortably, and your own washroom. And all of that, the privacy, the opportunity to heal, to have a conversation with your healthcare provider or a family member in your own space. So it really is a remarkable, remarkable space. And we are excited. Every time we see the updated renderings, it's pretty special.
Yeah, I remember the very first time I saw them, I said, I have to be part of that. And I think, people can be part of this campaign in many different ways. I chose a monthly option because that was really great for my budget. So I think that's an important piece to share, is that people can give if they have a one-time gift, or they can give monthly and really make up that sort of, if they want to give a chunk of money, they can do it monthly and do it as a family as well. Yeah.
We've seen a lot of that where families have come together, where parents have engaged their children and said, this is something that's important. It's something that we would like to do as a family. And we've shared proposals with family members. But you're right, there's many ways to support the campaign, and some people think, well, cash is a little tight right now, I don't think I can commit. What we're offering our donors is to even do multi-year pledges, where people can say, I can do this much this year, or in your case, this is what I can do monthly. We love our monthly donors. They're we can count on them. They're so important. So we've seen many different ways where people have support. I know for me, I do payroll deduction. And
so smart.
Which is kind of my way of giving on a monthly basis. But we can accommodate any donor, any individual, a corporation that wants to run a workplace campaign, you name it.
And I mean, it's not lost on me. I'm 52. I'm going to tell you how old I am, Tim.
I got you, Sam.
I'm 52,
I got you.
and why I'm sharing that is because, my daughter's going to be 16 soon, and my mom's 82. So when I think about the new hospital, you know where I'm going with this. I think about my mom, I think about myself, and I think about my daughter. Because I want to make sure that she has what she needs moving forward. I want my mom to be cared for, of course, and those days are coming for me that I might need the Ottawa Hospital. I've needed them before, I'll need you again. Those conversations, I think, multi-generational conversations, are really key.
Absolutely. So if you think of your daughter and paving the way future for your daughter, this facility will attract great physicians and researchers to choose Ottawa. So that in itself will have a considerable impact. And if we can recruit remarkable people, because we're one of the largest teaching hospitals in the country, if we can recruit people to come to Ottawa, that's going to bring more specialists to Ottawa, access to the latest and greatest treatments. For your mom, so my dad's 90. I had to, and he's in hospital, but I had to talk to my dad about some tests that he had to have done and that he may need to go to another facility. I had to have that conversation with 2 other people in beds beside him.
Wow.
So that lack of privacy. So you think of your mom, or you think of all of us that may have aging parents, that lack of privacy, and my dad's hard of hearing. So you're trying to have that conversation. So just think when we can have private rooms, very respectful for the patients and their families. So I think it's going to impact on all generations.
For sure. But also thinking ahead, I think, in terms of, we've had a pandemic. I think it's really important that, whatever infrastructure we build also satisfies a potential pandemic in the future, a potential challenge in the future.
100%. If you talk to Cameron Love, our CEO, and Joanne Reed, who's leading the project development team, she will say our plans were greatly influenced by the pandemic. This will not be the last pandemic, and we have viruses in the community, et cetera. So the ability to isolate people in their own room, not shut down entire wards because someone may have an infectious disease, but to be able to isolate them in their own room helps all of the patients on that floor.
We have so much to talk about. I want to just, before we go to break, talk a little bit about the research component. I worked at the Ottawa Hospital Foundation for a short time, as you know, and I think I really respected research after having that experience, because the research of today is the treatment at the bedside tomorrow, and in many cases, because of the teaching hospital and all of the work that you're doing, that is happening right away. So talk to me a little bit of the research component of this campaign.
So when we talk to donors, they quickly say, we had no idea the Ottawa Hospital does that. Our hospital research institute is perhaps the third largest in Canada, second only to Sick Kids and maybe McGill, depending on the year. And research is critical. Not only do you have access to the latest treatments, it does provide our patients with hope. If you have gone through all of those traditional treatment options available, but then you're presented with the opportunity to participate in a clinical trial or have access to novel therapies, it really is about hope. And I mentioned earlier about recruiting. If you are a strong academic research hospital, physicians and researchers can go anywhere in the world, but by investing in research, and our donors can support research through this campaign, you're investing in the healthcare future, both in helping recruit great clinicians and researchers, but also perhaps altering the treatment opportunities available for patients.
Well, let's put it this way. A clinical trial and research that was happening at the Ottawa Hospital gave my dad to me for another 18 months.
Yeah.
Do
100%.
I believe in research?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have so much to talk about, and we're going to talk a little bit about a guest that we have coming up as well. So you want to stay? You're going to stay with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you'll want to stay with me as well. We appreciate you spending time with us, talking about all things the Ottawa Hospital Foundation today. We have lots to talk about. We're hoping to get you engaged as well in this campaign. Visit creatingtomorrow.ca and learn how you can get involved. I'm Sam Laprade. This is An Hour to Give. We'll see you soon. And we are back on An Hour to Give. We are talking about the Ottawa Hospital Foundation today and ways for you to get involved. If you haven't visited creatingtomorrow.ca, you'll want to head there. But we want to spend more time right now with Tim Kluk. And Tim is the president and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation. We know, of course, Giving Tuesday is right around the corner. We're leading up to year end. We want to make sure we've inspired as much of the city as we can to give to the Ottawa Hospital. What are your plans?
So busy time. The fall is a busy time for philanthropy for lots of reasons. Some donors say, hey, I need that tax receipt before the end of the year, so they'll make a gift. But I think it's also a time for some reflection and reflecting on what's important to our donors, what's important to the community. And it is a busy time. We've got a couple special campaigns leading up. You mentioned Giving Tuesday, but maybe I'll start with David and Elizabeth Mann, who have been incredible donors of ours for many years, and they've had a personal connection to the cause. They've offered to match, so double donations, from now until December 31st, up to $100,000.
Wow.
So incredible, generous family. So to your listeners out there, if you want to make a gift today, you mentioned creatingtomorrow.ca, that's the place to go, and David and Elizabeth are going to match your gift. So
and that match, like I love thinking, I'm going to give $100, it's going to become $200. There's something about that. We love that.
Absolutely. Well, actually, I have something better for you, too.
Oh, tell me.
In a few moments, we're going to meet Michelle. Yes. And Michelle and his wife, Lori, have graciously shared with us their intention to, on Giving Tuesday, triple people's donations up to 100,000 again. So
wow.
Remarkable. And Michel will share his story and his connection to the cause, longtime connection with the Ottawa Hospital, very generous donor to our foundation, to the hospital, and in recognition of this special campaign, that's what they wanted to do. So they're going to triple donations next Tuesday on Giving Tuesday.
Okay, now you've made it really exciting.
Exactly.
And for those that aren't familiar with the term Giving Tuesday, you and I are in this all the time, sure. but tell people what Giving Tuesday is.
Yeah, Giving Tuesday is kind of one day in the calendar that the charitable sector rallies to engage the community to make a charitable gift. So it's an opportunity for charities to tell their story, to inspire the community, to invite participation, and I think you think some of the trends nationally, fewer people are making charitable gifts. So this is just a great reminder that invest in your community, make a charitable gift, support an organization that means a lot to you. So in our case, we've got some terrific matches, and it'll be an exciting day Tuesday. There's going to be lots of inspiring stories from the Ottawa Hospital about why this institution really needs your support.
What time are you getting up that morning?
Listen, I'll be manning the phones, but it's a big
awesome.
Day, and we're really excited about it.
That's wonderful, and the triple match. That's wonderful. So when I think about the next few weeks as we head into sort of holiday time, those gifts can also mean that you're giving a gift to the Ottawa Hospital for someone in your life. Like, I think those gifts of honor to somebody. A lot of people don't need anything else, Tim.
Exactly.
I'll put up my hand.
Yep.
I need nothing.
Yep.
But if someone was to say, Sam, in your honor, I'm going to give this gift to the Ottawa Hospital, that would be very meaningful for me.
Absolutely. I'm really glad you brought that point up, because tribute giving is something we're seeing a lot more. People who are celebrating birthdays, where they're saying, come to a dinner party, you don't need to bring anything, just make a donation to the hospital. So seeing a lot of that now. And similarly, we mentioned earlier about engaging families, and what a great opportunity at the holidays to maybe rally as a family to say, rather than fill that stocking with stuff we really don't need, maybe we could pool our funds and make a gift to the Ottawa Hospital.
Because I think anyone that has had any connection, if you're driving down Carling Avenue, you look over at the Civic, and if you've had a connection there, I mean, I could go on for an hour about my own family's history there. It's not bricks and mortar, it's the people.
100%.
So, and we've talked a little bit about that, in terms of the new campus and what that's going to be, but the people that you have there now working in a building that is probably too old, let's be honest, you never know it from them. They're so welcoming. And I remember one time going in, this is kind of a funny story, to see someone that had a broken leg, and they said, oh, you've got to come. And so I went in, and they thought that I had worked there because I was just so like, oh my gosh, to be here. I think those are those opportunities for people to really understand that it's about the people that say, I work at the Ottawa Hospital, I'm proud to work there, the docs, the nurses, the environment staff, everybody, from when you walk in the door to right through to any surgery or any major sort of treatment. I mean, those are the people behind it all. It's
a special calling, and I think we all recognize through COVID how hard our medical professionals work. And whether it's the porter helping you find where you need to go for that X-ray or imaging, we have a great program that is quite successful, and our donors love it, called our gratitude program, which this is where someone who's had a positive care experience, they've interfaced with a physician, a nurse, a clinician, social worker, porter, can make a donation and honor that individual. It's really well received. If you come to the Ottawa Hospital, you'll see lapel pins, and it's the Gratitude Award pin, and people wear them really, really with a lot of pride, incredible pride. So another way that people can contribute and support those individuals who are there supporting us when we really need the help.
So many people know that I love my broadcast job. I love doing all this, but I'm also a fundraiser at heart. So I have to mention legacy giving, because legacy giving to me is that ultimate gift where somebody has lived their whole life, and when they think about where they want some monies to go at death, that they choose a charity that's meant a lot to them. How important is the legacy giving piece for you?
It is, and you needed to also add that you're a donor. So you're a donor to this campaign. So thank you so much for that.
My pleasure.
But you're right, legacy giving, so thinking about the future when you're not here, it's an important program of our foundation. Increasingly, we're meeting with donors, their financial planners, their family members, to talk about structuring a gift today that would be part of their estate plan. It may be assigning a paid-up life insurance policy. A lot of people have policies that have been paid for years. Well, you can actually make a contribution of life insurance. You can take out a new life insurance policy and get tax receipts for those premiums that you pay. But you're absolutely right. Thinking of your estate plans, you think of your family, you think of everyone else, think of those charities that really mean a lot to you, but engage us now. Like, engage us now in that conversation so we can structure impact when you're no longer here, but we can live your wishes and follow through on what your intentions were.
And I think about legacy giving when it comes to this campaign, because creatingtomorrow.ca really is about that next 100 years and
100%.
what and that's going to look like. The babies that will be born there, the life changes that will happen there. It's such an important piece. So inspire us again in regards to how people can give.
There's a place for everybody in the campaign, and we will not raise $500 million without every corner of this community coming together to support the Ottawa Hospital. 100 years ago, community leaders raised $3.5 million that built the original Civic. Those community leaders paid it forward for generations, and they were coming off the Spanish flu pandemic.
Right.
So here we are as a community, charting a course for the next 100 years on the heels of our pandemic. But we're shaping the future of healthcare for this city. It's the most important investment in healthcare in our lifetime. Full stop. Everybody listening, this is the largest investment in healthcare in your lifetime, and we invite people to be a part of it. It's a great way to shape the future of Ottawa and pay it forward for future generations.
Absolutely, and we've talked a lot about family, and I think about friends. I think about people that have had things happen in their life, and where did they go? They went to the Ottawa Hospital. So I think it's just one of those situations in this community that I think we all need to sort of stand up at this point and say, this is important to us. So you're at, remind us again where you're at in the campaign.
As of this morning, $306 million.
Wow, it's incredible.
Yeah,
so $306 million. We're trying to get you to the $500 million mark, and you've just been so great about going into the community and really not only you sharing the message, Tim, but you have this wonderful cabinet and all of these people around you that are volunteers that are sharing your message. How important is that piece?
It's been fantastic. We have a 17-member board of directors in the foundation, chaired by Janet McCaig from RBC. She's been tremendous. Our whole board, everyone's a donor on our board. Every one of our staff is a donor. And similarly, our campaign is chaired by Roger Greenberg from Minto. And we've assembled a wonderful campaign executive, all our donors to the campaign, and all have agreed to go out and talk to their natural networks. And we've just expanded. We've recruited a campaign cabinet of about 30 people in the community. So you can really feel the grassroots coming together now with this campaign. And we could not get there without our volunteers, and obviously we can't get there without our donors.
Yeah, and I know many of the healthcare practitioners that work there are also donors as well. I've spoke with many docs over the years. It's always a joy to speak to to any of the healthcare professionals that are doing that work. So can you imagine going to work and just like you at the foundation as well, going to work and still contributing to the place that you work?
Absolutely, and to be honest, we do get asked in the community. We get asked, are the physicians supporting this campaign?
Wow.
Is your senior management team at the hospital supporting this campaign? And I can say yes. As I said, 100% of our staff, whether you just joined the organization or we have Jennifer Van Noort, who is just a Businesswoman of the Year, 20 years. Heather McLean, 20 years with our foundation. They're all donors. We're all donors, and for many of us, this campaign, we made our largest philanthropic gifts ever.
Have you let your mind go to walking in there for the first time, walking into that new hospital for the first time? Have you gotten there yet in your mind?
You know, I think with each kind of iteration of the renderings and the plans, the excitement does build. It's imminent, but the doors are going to open kind of late 2028, 29. So we got a ways to go yet. But with construction starting, we're in the ground, we're building. Now it's starting to come together. We will literally see it rise up from the ground here in the next couple of years. So great
exciting,
time.
Tim
Great
Kluk.
time. Yeah.
So exciting. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it.
Tim Kluk joining us today, President and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation. And boy, did he inspire me today. The inspiration is not over. Michelle Brazeau will join us. Trust me, you will not want to miss it. This is An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade. Come back and learn more about the Ottawa Hospital Foundation right here. And we are back on An Hour to Give. We're talking all things Ottawa Hospital Foundation today. And I want to make sure you visit creatingtomorrow.ca. It's got all the information you're going to need there to make a wonderful gift towards this important campaign in our community. I wanted to introduce you to someone today that I met recently and just absolutely adore, and that is Michelle Brazeau. Hello, Michelle.
Hi. Nice
Lovely to
again.
see you.
Yes, meet in person.
In person. So we did our interview recently that we did for the Ottawa Business Journal. We did that on the phone, which was great, and I got a chance to meet your family as well, which was lovely. But in person's always better.
Yes.
Always better. So tell me a little bit about yourself. We know you're a senior partner at Deloitte, and we know that you believe in this campaign for the Ottawa Hospital, but tell me a little bit more about you.
In Ottawa, born, raised, educated, left for 2 years, came back, multiple generations. So I'm proud to say I choose to live in Ottawa. I got great family, 3 kids, and a lovely wife, but strong ties to the community. And I probably say it this way, and I've not been a very good spectator. So all my life, one of my messages to my kids and to everyone was, I choose not to be a spectator. So whether it was my kids' sports, where I just couldn't sit in the stands, or participating in the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, it's about don't be a spectator in a community you choose to live in. Be an active participant, whatever that means, however that manifests itself. And it's something that I believe in, and I've tried to push into my kids, so hopefully that'll work when they grow up, and I'm already seeing it, but in others as well. I want to make that contagious.
Yeah, it is contagious. After speaking to you, I phoned my friends at the Ottawa Hospital, and I'm like, that was amazing, because I was so inspired by you. There's so much to talk about, and I want to start with taking you back to when you were 19 years old. Can we go back there together?
Yeah.
What happened?
I refer to it as a Buick accident. My father refers to it as my stupid motorcycle accident. I was on a motorcycle, the Buick hit me, Buick won. I get often asked, what kind of bike did you have? And I always say, the size of the bike doesn't matter, it's the size of the Buick that hits you.
Right.
And it was a big Buick.
Wow.
And I was lucky, and a lot of people find it funny when I speak about what happens in my life, and I refer to how lucky I was. And I was lucky that day because there was an ambulance having a coffee and a donut close by. But I got hit at over 100 kilometers an hour, and it technically ripped my leg off. So I had my left leg amputated at site type thing. But the ambulance was there, they brought me to the hospital, and I was lucky. I was lucky because on that day, Jean-Pierre Desjardins, who I still view as the man who saved my life and my leg, decided to reattach it, which in 1982 was kind of like a big deal back then, but lucky to have the right doc and the right vascular team. And they said, you know what, we'll try this. Initially, they thought it didn't work. It took a lot of operations. I had call it probably 17 over my life to keep the leg and repair other things because everybody's focused on a leg, but I keep saying when you get hit by a large Buick, other things get damaged.
I can't believe I'm laughing at that. Oh my heavens.
But it's just funny because but that's how I choose also to deal with certain things. But I was lucky. I was also lucky after because I met a group of therapists that were crazy therapists. And I say crazy because I didn't have any sensation in my leg, and a lot of the medical folks didn't know if it was going to come back, if my nerves would function. But there's one lady, Nancy Parker. I call her out because I still have her on my mind, because I was lucky to have a person like her who had studied in something called Feldenkrais. At the time, she was one of the only people in Canada who studied the Feldenkrais method, and she believed that it could help me. And I believed because she believed, and I could walk and I can function. And so I give a lot of credit to the team, but I call out Jean-Pierre Desjardins and Nancy Parker, because they stepped above and beyond. And that kind of hits part of the message here, which is, you said it in the first half hour, the building is important, but the building is to attract the right talent. So if Jean-Pierre hadn't been there, if Nancy hadn't been part of the team, where would I be today? And that's what I mean by positive thinking. It's like I was lucky. We had the right people. But you can't count on luck all the time. So what is it that we can do to make sure that my kids' kids have the right doctors in place when they need them? And that's a little bit of the message that I like to deliver. It's like, don't trust, luck happens not by chance. You make your luck happen. So there's an opportunity for the community right now to participate in making sure that for the next 100 years, we have the right conditions to attract talent.
Oh, I feel exactly how you feel. Exactly. I haven't gone through, obviously. I haven't had a run in with a Buick.
I don't recommend the Buick thing.
No.
Nothing against Buicks, just when they hit you.
Exactly, no, 100%. This wasn't your only experience with the Ottawa Hospital.
No, I say unfortunately. My wife, a year and a day after we were married, was diagnosed with cancer. She had thyroid cancer, and there's a funny story there as well. But she was lucky. Dr. Ian Walker, her family doctor, spotted what he said was a lump on her neck. I live with the woman, didn't see a lump on her neck. She didn't see a lump on her neck.
Wow.
So he spotted it very early, and the doctors at the Ottawa Hospital, Civic Campus, actually she went across 3 campuses at that time for her treatment, but within 2 years she was, you can never use the word cured, but I'll say cured, and it's 30 years later, and she still has had 0 recurrence of cancer. So when caught early, when the machine works well, she was extremely well taken care of. And it's funny, we were talking together before coming out here today, and she said the same thing. She said the doctors, because she was very, everybody finds out they have cancer, only evil thoughts come to mind. And what the doctors did for her was just reassure her to live her life without stress. And that's difficult when you have cancer in the early years. You keep thinking recurrence. But in her case, the doctors really, really tried to just calm her down and just live your life to the fullest. And then the funny part, which is not funny, is that's unfortunately the cancer that I was hit with in 2021. And again, I use humor, so I apologize.
It's all good.
But I ended up with a rare version of thyroid cancer. And this is where my wife, who also suffers from funny bone syndrome, says, "Oh my God, Michelle, you're so competitive. You just couldn't get thyroid cancer. You had to have the rare variant." But it's been hard because I have the rare variant and it's very aggressive. But again, call out from day one, Dr. Obaseki Johnson, when I met with her the first time, it was one of these referrals because I refused to think what I was suffering was normal. She said, "How straight do you want me to be?" And I said, "Straight." And she goes, she had just touched my neck, and she goes, "The likelihood you don't have cancer is like 0. So we're gonna do a tissue sample today." And I have visions of tissue sample being a needle. And she goes, no, because I really believe you have cancer. We're gonna slice you open. And I was like, when's this gonna happen? It's like, in 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, speed to service was a little bit more than I expected, but literally within 10 minutes, she had my neck open and we were doing a large sample. It was funny because I had to phone my EA right before and say, I'm not going to be at the 3 o'clock that was scheduled.
No.
Because I figured it was probably good not to go. Mm-hmm. And from there, we progressed with treatment, multiple operations, and now I'm followed by a group of specialist oncologists with some medication that's keeping me alive. Mm-hmm. And it really is all about quality of life and how I can live my life to the fullest, coexisting with a cancer. This is not a cancer that we can unfortunately kill, so it's a cancer that we're trying to manage. It's in my lungs, it's in my bones, it's here, there, and everywhere. But the drugs are working well, minus some side effects.
And you speak about this journey you're on. You speak about the Ottawa Hospital Foundation and the journey that they're on. You've come together with all the experiences you've had at the Ottawa Hospital. You believe so strongly in creating tomorrow.ca.
Yeah.
Tell us what that conversation was like with your family. We have a couple of minutes. And we have another segment to go as well. I want to take a deep dive into it, but just start us off with that conversation with your family about why you wanted to give to this hospital.
I think it comes back to choosing not to be a spectator, and that's the conversation we had with our kids, which was you have choices in life. You can complain. You can complain, why do we have to raise money? Why doesn't the government pay for all this? Well, the government doesn't have money. It's our money, right? And what we're trying to do is amplify the money that's available for our community. And that's a bit the message we're trying to teach our kids, is there's a choice that we are making as a family to give right now, because if we wait 10 years till one of you is sick and you're being wheeled into the hospital, it's too late. When you're being wheeled into the hospital, it's too late to think about giving. So it is about us making a commitment to give back if you want. I've been blessed from a career standpoint. We as a family have been blessed from a lifestyle standpoint. And that's a little bit of the message. It's how can we engage as a family in a philanthropy that will last their generation and the next generations. And the kids bought in to it 100%, in part because they've also lived through some of the experiences that I have, because you do live it as a family, unfortunately and fortunately.
That is the truth, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. My family's gone through something similar, and it is a family. And I will say, we're going to come back in a minute, but I will say that the Ottawa Hospital does that beautifully as well.
It does, and it engages the family. And I think the fact that I could get the services that I need, the professionals that I need here in Ottawa, allowed my family to be with me. If I had to travel somewhere else to get the treatment, the specialist, the special machine, the special skill, you don't get the family support that you can in your community. And that is hugely important.
It is.
Whether it was my motorcycle accident, my wife's cancer, or my cancer, having my family and friends supporting me is a whole lot easier when it's in your community.
100%. Beautifully said. Michelle Brazeau joining us today, talking about the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, creating tomorrow.ca. We're coming back with Michelle. Hope you come back. Stay with us on An Hour to Give. Well, I have a little bit of a warning for you. You're going to be inspired. We're talking about the Ottawa Hospital Foundation today, and Michelle Brazeau is joining us today. Not only a donor, of course, to the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, but also a senior partner at Deloitte. And you've just recently retired, right?
I'm in the process of retiring.
Yes.
As someone said, it feels like a 3-month journey, but I announced retirement, and because I had a national role and I spent a lot of time in all our markets, I've had mini retirement parties across the country, so it's been a nice way of saying farewell to my colleagues in the different communities where I did work and play.
It shows how much you're loved.
Yes, I think so. It's about, I always say unselfishly giving, and it's not with the desire to have something back, but it sometimes happens, and when it does, it's like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And we've talked a little bit about your family gift. I want to talk about that in a minute, but I want to talk about Deloitte and the commitment that Deloitte has made. Walk us through this.
Yeah, Mark Noonan, one of our partners, gathers us around and called me and said, hey, would you be willing to help us rally the partners together to make a gift that could have an impact on community? And a lot of our Deloitte brand, if you want, is about impact. So there was a natural fit, and it was about finding a cause that everyone can rally behind. And there are many valid charities in Canadian marketplace, in the Ottawa community. The Ottawa Hospital, I find, is a simple one to convince people, because I was addressing a group last night, and I said the degree of separation with the Ottawa Hospital isn't 1, it's 0. So it's really hard for people not to understand how it's easy to come together as a group and give. And we wanted to make a gift that had impact. And so we rallied together partners, and we made $1 million contribution. In part as well, I'm going to say it out loud so everybody hears it, it was to try and get the other employers to step up as a community and say, we are both individuals and we are corporations, small corporations, large corporations living in our marketplace. There is a role for corporations in Ottawa to actually rally around the Ottawa Hospital in this campaign to build our hospital of the future. So we wanted to lead by example, hoping that it might encourage, nudge others to do the same. So for all of the employers out there who haven't thought of it or who are hesitating, please don't. And again, it's not the size of the gift that matters, it's that you as a group got together and acknowledged the significance that this hospital can bring to our community where you as a company choose to exist. This was part of we had a Deloitte event last night, and November is our month of giving. And so we showcased the Ottawa Hospital last night. And part of my message on philanthropy was I asked people to close their eyes and to think of the word philanthropy and honestly answer what they saw. And I said, you probably saw a large donation, or you saw a very wealthy corporation or family trust. And I said, and yes, that's nice. And I know the foundation loves those. We live in Ottawa, so we don't have the density of gazillionaires that Toronto does or New York. So when we say community giving, it really is about individuals stepping up. So we need all of the companies that exist and choose to do business in Ottawa to engage, and we need individuals to view philanthropy not as something that rich people do. It's something that we as individuals choose to do. And the size of the gift that you give is according to what you can. Now, I did encourage my partners, and I did encourage everyone in the firm to say, if you really think the Ottawa Hospital is important, then if it hurts a little, then that's okay.
Right.
If it doesn't hurt, then you can probably give a little bit more. So it's when it hurts. And there are different ways of giving that can make it easier as well from a tax implication standpoint. Sure. I'm not the tax expert. There are others who do that for a living.
For sure.
But philanthropy does not have to be something that's a $100 million gift, but we do welcome those as well. But it can be individuals or families coming together, because this is going to be a multi-generation hospital. So it's okay that multi-generations come together to give a gift.
Oh, that's beautifully said. And you're not the kind of guy that can say that you gave at the office.
No.
No, because you gave at home too.
Yeah.
And Tim shared the good news. Tim Klug, President and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, shared the good news earlier. Not only is the gift on Giving Tuesday, if anyone gives at that time frame, going to be doubled, it's going to be tripled. And that's the wonderful donation with you and your family.
Well, it's funny because the announcement came out yesterday, and I'll call out my friend Steve today, who texted me this morning going, I'm gonna give a gift because I want to make sure you're giving the max that you actually committed to. I encourage all my friends, all the business colleagues, use the Giving Tuesday as a nudge if you need it to give. And give now, because that's my big message. Don't give when you think you'll need the service. You will be too late. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. give now.
And what would you say to, to people that have given to this campaign to get us over the $300 million mark? I say us. I haven't been involved other than a small donor. But that team at the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, I mean, they're just working so hard. But what would you say to the people that have got us to this point?
I'd say thank you, right? A big thank you. But don't stop. Nudge your neighbor, because we need 500. So the glass is half full, which is great. Remember, I told you I was positive, but now I'm positive we can get to it. But I'm also positive that we can only get to it if we engage everyone in the community to get there, because again, unlike some of the larger cities and the Torontos of the world, as I call it, we need to get there by the community actually contributing, and we need to nudge all the organizations that choose to live in this city, because it'll help business. Because I say that as well. I say it's individuals, but it'll help businesses, because they can attract top talent if we have a top talent hospital as well. So the concept of a nice building in the right environment to attract our doctors, our nurses, our therapists. Special call out to nurses, by the way. The nursing crew in a special recovery unit for the ENT. When you wake up and I had a tracheotomy, I had tubes. My wife said I had more tubes coming out of me than humanly possible. The dedicated nursing team in that group, I got to live there 2 weeks post-surgery 1, 2 weeks post-surgery 2. I love my nurses, and I say that out loud, and I get in trouble for saying that. And I go, men and women. I'm not. It's just the nurses are the. If the doctors are the ones we focus a lot of attention on, the nurses 100%. Are so critical. But we need the community to understand that attracting the top talent in the hospital will yield to each business, because it's a calling feature. Imagine if we didn't have the Ottawa Hospital. I can't, truly. So, can I ask you a question? Yep. Has this campaign been good for you during a very difficult time? It has, because I've been engaged with the Ottawa Hospital since day one, since the motorcycle accident, because I will admit, I got to see to see the good and the bad. Like, there are areas of improvement in our healthcare system. But this has been good for me because I've lived my life as well by impact. And I think this is a way for me to make sure that an organization that's been there for me is better positioned to be there for my kids and for my wife, and my parents are still alive. Like, I got siblings. I got more cousins than you can shake a tree at in Ottawa. The Brazos were very, I love it. The Brazos, the Thibauts, we got a bunch of cousins. I have so many cousins, it's funny. But it's our community, and I'm super happy. In fact, I wish I could do more. How's that? Like, if my chagrin, if a French word here for you, is I wish I could. I want to do more, but it's important. What I love about your giving, though, is obviously the family impact and your 3 beautiful children. I've seen a picture of them. You have a gorgeous family. So you've created that incredible legacy by participating in Giving Tuesday, inspiring your friend, not only Steve, but all your friends, the whole community to match that. That's an incredible legacy, right? That you're living this incredible opportunity to inspire people. Yeah, but I honestly don't want it to be. I just say it's not about us. It is about the hospital. So, and this is where I'm trying to do in my messaging is bring it back to the hospital, and I'm back to closing your eyes. I love telling people close your eyes because the power of what your brain sees. You're getting wheeled into the hospital. Who do you want there when you open your eyes? Whether it's cancer, heart attack, you name the disease, who do you want? I also sent a message to the French community. So my family was a big supporter and still is of Montfort Hospital. I love that has a role within our community. But to the French community, I also say, the Ottawa Hospital is your hospital as well when it comes to critical care, when it comes to the big diseases. It has no language barrier. And as a Francophone, I would tell you I was massively well served in French in all of the campuses I've been in. But so it is our community, and I even go across the river because I've made that message before. With a previous employer, we were giving here, there, and everywhere. And one of the things we did is we rallied and said, what is the one organization that serves us all? And we had a large base of employees on the Gatineau side as well. And the answer was the Ottawa Hospital, because it does serve the NCR, not just Ottawa. So it's a strong message. Imagine when you're getting wheeled into the hospital, who do you want there to serve you? And that's a powerful image.
It is powerful, and I will never forget it. I'll never forget this opportunity to spend time with you, and I'm so glad to finally meet you in person. Michelle Brazeau, thank you so much for everything you've done for the Ottawa Hospital and everything you've done for this community. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Appreciate the time. Michelle Brazeau joining us today here talking all about the Ottawa Hospital Foundation. Of course, Tim Kluk, President and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, joined me a little bit earlier as well. We hope that you reach out through creatingtomorrow.ca and make your own gift towards this campaign. I'm Sam Laprade. It's an hour to give. Thanks so much for spending time with us. I know you were inspired.